Welcome to the Global WarWatch Network. Today, we're looking at a huge security shift that's unfolding as we speak in North Africa. And hey, to make sure you never miss analyses like this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, let's jump right in. This quote really just nails the whole situation. What we're seeing is that Rabat's procurement of advanced Israeli air defense isn't just a minor upgrade. It's shifting the entire military balance in the Maghreb. So in this explainer, we're going to analyze how this partnership with Israel is allowing Morocco to make a massive strategic pivot, securing its vital infrastructure and creating a whole new security architecture that's completely redefining power across North Africa.
And here's how we're going to break it all down for you today. First, we'll look at how this new alliance even came to be through a really strategic deal. Then we'll get into the desert shield they're building with some serious Israeli tech. After that, we'll see how this is kicking off a regional arms race, unpack Morocco's bigger strategic goals, and wrap it all up by discussing what this means for the new order in the Maghreb.
Okay, so first things first, how did this alliance even become possible? Well, the groundwork for everything we're about to talk about was laid back in December 2020 as part of the Abraham Accords. This was a truly landmark diplomatic agreement, and believe me, it completely changed the game in the region.
That's exactly right, Alex. The deal was this historic trade-off. For Morocco, the prize was absolutely massive. The United States formally recognized its sovereignty over the Western Sahara, a territory they've been fighting over for decades. That was their number one goal, and on top of that, they got a pledge of $3 billion in U.S. investment. So what did the U.S. and Israel get in return? Full normalization with a major Arab power. This created an incredibly powerful new strategic partnership in a really critical part of the world.
So that diplomatic deal opened the floodgates for defense cooperation. Let's get into how they're actually building this so-called desert shield. The political agreement basically unlocked the door for a wave of high-tech military buys, letting Morocco fast-track the modernization of its forces with some of the most cutting-edge Israeli tech out there.
And yeah, that cooperation came with a pretty hefty price tag. In February of 2022, Morocco inked a huge $500 million deal with Israeli Aerospace Industries. And the crown jewel of that purchase was a truly state-of-the-art air and missile defense system.
The system is called the Barak-MX, and it's so capable, people have nicknamed it the Iron Dome of the desert. But what's really important to understand here is that it's modular. This isn't just for taking out short-range rockets like the original Iron Dome. No, the Barak-MX is a multi-layered system built to intercept a whole spectrum of threats, everything from small, slow-flying drones all the way up to high-speed ballistic missiles. And here's the cool part, how that layered defense actually works. The system can fire 3 different interceptors from the very same launcher. For those close-in threats, like drones or helicopters, it uses the Barak MRAD. For faster targets like cruise missiles or even fighter jets out to 70 kilometers, it'll launch the LRAD. And then for the really high-altitude serious threats like tactical ballistic missiles, it deploys the Barak ER, which can reach out a staggering 150 kilometers. It is quite literally a comprehensive defensive umbrella.
And believe me, the shopping spree does not stop with the Barak-MX. Morocco is buying a whole suite of Israeli systems. We're talking Ofek-13 spy satellites for top-tier reconnaissance, SpyX loitering munitions, which you might know as kamikaze drones, for precision strikes, and some seriously powerful artillery like the Pulse rocket launchers and Atmos howitzers.
Now, it probably won't surprise you to hear that this kind of rapid, high-tech military buildup isn't exactly happening in a vacuum. What Morocco considers a necessary defensive upgrade, its main regional rival, Algeria, sees as a direct offensive threat. And this has kicked off a classic security dilemma, fueling a seriously escalating arms race right across the Maghreb.
And this right here, this is the main stage where all those tensions are playing out. The vast, rugged terrain of the Western Sahara has become the front line of this new rivalry. This is where these advanced drones and sophisticated defense systems are actually being put to work to control territory and keep adversaries at bay.
The numbers, well, they really do tell the story. While Morocco's defense budget is already a massive $17.1 billion, Algeria has fired back by committing an eye-watering $25 billion to its military. This isn't just some friendly competition. It's a full-blown arms race with both countries pouring incredible amounts of money into their militaries. But, it's not just about how much money they're spending, it's about how they're spending it. Morocco is going for what some are calling a smart power strategy. They're focused on getting a qualitative edge, buying advanced network systems from Israel, the US, and France. Algeria, on the other hand, is just doubling down on a classic conventional strategy, trying to achieve superiority through sheer numbers, with a massive arsenal that's over 70% reliant on Russian hardware. Two very different philosophies at play. This military buildup brings us to our next point, Morocco's much larger strategic pivot. See, this isn't just about the rivalry with Algeria. It's all part of a very deliberate plan by Rabat to use this new military might to reposition itself on the world stage. And just look at the speed at which this partnership has grown. I mean, it's incredible. You go from the initial agreement in December 2020 to less than a year later, the first ever formal defense deal between Israel and an Arab nation. Then comes the huge Barak-MX deal. They start testing weapons together, and it's all building toward this multi-year military work plan set for January 2026, which is designed to basically lock in their security cooperation for the long term. This went from a diplomatic handshake to a deep, structural alliance in just a few short years.
Right. And this alliance really supports four key pillars of Morocco's new strategy. First, build their own domestic defense industry with Israeli help. They're even planning a spy drone factory. Second, become a go-to security partner for the US and Africa. Third, push back against Iranian influence, especially its supposed support for the Polisario front. And finally, use this whole security setup to protect its massive economic project, the Royal Atlantic Initiative, which aims to give landlocked countries in the Sahel access to the Atlantic.
So, what's the bottom line here? What does all of this actually mean for the region? Well, that brings us to our final section, the new Maghreb order. The rise of this Morocco-Israel axis is creating a fundamentally new security setup in North Africa, and it has some really profound implications for stability. At the end of the day, Morocco's goal is to become an absolutely indispensable security anchor. By weaving together all these strategic partnerships, it wants to be the critical connection point between European security, advanced Israeli technology, and Africa's huge economic potential. It's a really bold play to become the geopolitical center of gravity for that entire North Atlantic Sahelian corridor. And that really leaves us with the million-dollar question, doesn't it? Is this new, heavily armed, and strategically realigned order in the Maghreb going to be a foundation for long-term stability built on shared tech and interests? Or is it just the blueprint for an even more dangerous conflict down the road, one fueled by this nonstop arms race? And that's our breakdown of this new Desert Alliance. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this analysis useful, we'd really appreciate it if you'd like, share, and subscribe to the Global WarWatch Network. It helps us keep making more explainers just like this one. We really want to hear what you think. Is this alliance a force for stability, or is it making the region more dangerous? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and come join our community on social media. All the links are in the description. We'll see you on the next one.